In fact, it wasn't, but Henry Paul wearing number 6 and playing at full-back. First man to get a touch. I really hope they change back to the old numbering system, particularly when you're dealing with international sides. Andy Farrell. Right with the short pass for Cassidy. Playing it back for Hall, who suffered a head wound last Monday night. Farrell's kick, not a lot of volume. The bounce will help them. Wendell Saylor brings a roar from the crowd as he goes back. That might have come off the hand of Wigan. It did. 6 more tackles and Saylor is there. He's on his own 40-metre line. Wigan winning the 1993 encounter here. Penalty to Brisbane, but of course let us reflect on the names that were in that 1993 side, and there's hardly any resemblance. Not so with the Brisbane side. Andrew G with the head down, taking them on towards the 30-metre line. And now for Lazarus. Put down by Hall and by Cowie and Cassidy. Chalice. Met again by almost the same trio of players. Hanson, the odd man out there. They're 15 out from the line. Langer and Walters. Walters particularly was in great form against the London Broncos. Now for Langer. And then down for G. It's put away underneath by Hanson, over the top by Hall, who's already made 4 tackles. Now the last. Walters rolls it in. Work there for Johnson, and Johnson grounded in goal. Line drop out.
I'm sure that Wigan have been made very aware of the short kicking game of this Brisbane team, especially Alan Langer. On that occasion, it was Andy Johnson, who was very impressive last Monday night. In fact, the whole back line was for Wigan, who dropped back, picked up, got a good bounce, ran off chased along with Kevin Walters. So a lot of possession early on for Brisbane. That might not be such a bad thing for the Englishman.
This is Darren Lockyer. Inside the 30 with a great run. Langer. 20-metre line. They crossed it. Chalice took a buffeting. Looked down at the bloke that put a shot on him too. Now for Lazarus and G. Andrew held there by Hanson and by Farrell. And the markers were both on the ground. Peter Ryan from G again. Chance here. Langer comes back inside, holding up the ball for Lazarus. Ball comes out the back. That's Driscoll. Now Darren Smith. Short ball for Lockyer. And the 5th. 8 metres out from the line. And then from Driscoll again. Away from Langer. Quick pass. Bullet-like stuff. Out to Walters. Inside for Renoff. Outside it goes. Mundine puts in the kick. And it's grabbed out of mid-air by Hall.
Well, that's great football from both sides. The Brisbane Broncos keeping the football alive. Mundine eventually taking it. And the hooker out there comes up with a great take from the kick. Ran off back inside, keeping it alive. Mundine kicks straight into the hooker's arms. That's very good play from Wigan early on in this game. They've absorbed a lot of pressure despite the break by Darren Lockyer. This is not going to help their cause.
Yes, they've given it over of their own volition. 30-metre line underneath this scrum. On the far side of ANZ. Rain still coming down quite steadily. Sometimes it's, in fact, hard to know whether it is raining or not up in the bleachers here at the ANZ. Here's Mundine drifting across the ground. Picked up by Redlinski. They drive in to make sure Mundine goes nowhere. It did take another one out of the defensive line, and they had to scamper back. Darren Smith then. For Langer. He goes across for Walters. Walters then on the outside for Lockyer. And Kevin Walters into dummy half, offloading for Peter Ryan. He puts a step in off his right, then his left. Runs into Martin Hall, who's done a lot of work. Then Langer again. He pushes it on for Mundine to step away from right. Then he steps away from Smith. Tries to cut back infield. 3 metres out from the line. This is the last. Langer puts the kick in. It came off another Bronco. Off a third Bronco. Harrigan wants to have a look at it. And I think everybody does. It was like watching a game of table tennis.
It's a pinball machine out there, wasn't it? The kick going through from Alan Langer. There's a knock on from right. Goes through. Well, I think we'll find that this is a try here.
Well, I think so. I think so. What do you think, Gary, as you watch it again?
One more time. Alan Langer goes to the line, of course. Right, trying to get the ball. It goes past there. I think Henry Paul's actually dragged the ball away from Tallis, and I believe that is a try.
Yeah, I think the final Brisbane player gets it. Tallis keeps it on the boot. Don't think he gets a touch.
No, he doesn't get a touch there, Sterlo.
And Darren Smith comes in. Yeah, from that angle, yeah, this should show whether he gets a good downward pressure on the football. Goes across to Smith in the headgear. Yeah.
Well, did Smith get downward pressure is the only question that the video referee has to ask of himself. I don't see any other reason to refuse the try. It's no try. A 20-metre restart indicates that it is exactly as we predicted. He did not get downward pressure on it.
This is one thing that Wigan did so well last week. It did control the ruck area, took a lot of punishment early from Canterbury, and they're doing the same here tonight against Brisbane. And they seem to come up with the right result every time in the centre six.
See, there was no knock-ons there. Everything that happened in goal, as far as Wigan were concerned, there was no breach. So he's ruled the breach on the Brisbane side. That's why we started from the 20-metre line and not the goal line. Farrell puts in a kick. Lockyer. Already he's opened them up once. Andrew Voss is on the sidelines. Well, I understand that it's raining and you're probably very cold and very wet. The wind in the first half, what's it doing?
It's definitely an advantage for Wigan, but I guess the problem is who do you kick to? Where do you find space? So I guess with Brisbane, outside of Canberra, they're the two best kick return sides in the league. You've got Tony Carroll, Wendell Saylor and Darren Lockyer at the back for the Broncos to return the ball.
Renoff then. Saylor, a dummy half, running away, 45 degrees, and then taking them on the fringe of the ruck. He's 42 metres away from the Wigan line. Lazarus. Underneath was Farrell. He left the field injured last Monday, and that hamstring is heavily taped as Langer puts in a kick. And Radlinski dropped across in anticipation. Henry Paul then.
Well, we just saw from Wigan what not to do against Alan Langer, and that's run up one out of the line and try and put pressure on him, especially late in the tackle count. That's the kind of thing that he's looking for, a staggered line. And really opened him up there with the kick, as we see these two sides have played on 2 occasions, 1 win apiece.
Andy Farrell running across there to link up with Gary Connolly it was. Now Cassidy, man of the match against Canterbury last Monday. They again go down the short side with Farrell putting in a left-footed kick that will find touch. 25 metres out from the Brisbane line, and no score as we welcome our European viewers tonight. Just watching this kick on replay, and a superb kick really from Farrell. Our European viewers tonight taking our coverage from Sky Sports over there, and we say hello and welcome to all of you.
Well, that was the only worry coming out of last Monday night's game for Wigan, was the injury to Andy Farrell. He left the field basically as a precaution. I think as though he's hampered anyway out there tonight. As I pointed out, these two teams have met on 2 occasions. Unusually, the 1 win they've had each was in the other country. Wigan won here, and Brisbane came up with a victory in their first clash at Central Park in Wigan.
Play by Carroll now. And they go over for Andrew G, and he's put down on his own 40-metre line. He's in the centre of the ground. Driscoll is the dummy half. Langer then cuts out his 5'8". He goes straight out towards the centres where he picks up Lockyer. And Langer's there to go down the blind side and bring Renoff into the play, but it's gone over the touchline off Renoff's pass.
Alfie going down that short side, saw a little bit of a gap on the opening there. The players all had to rush in. Johnson come off his wing, which is a great job. He did put plenty of pressure on Renouf. He couldn't get that last pass away. The save.
Wigan have made 37 tackles to Brisbane's 21. That already is a significant statistic. Robinson quickly down the left of the ground, down the short side, in front of the main grandstand as they go to the right and they go through Henry Paul, and this is Hansen. He's 42 metres out from the Brisbane line. Wigan really haven't seen the opposition territory. They've had no quality time down there. Played there by Smith, the halfback, and for Wright, who's got that big boot on him. We saw that last Monday. Farrell. Towering kick. Lockyer with rain pouring down on top of him. Covered a lot of ground to get there and then took it nicely. 13 metres away from the Brisbane line. Walters with the job of bringing it out now to the red zone line. 20 metres away. Lazarus, and he needs no introduction, of course, to you people watching through our European outlets. The big fella, regarded by most people around the world as the #1 prop in the world. Now Mundine. And here's Lockyer. Gets it back for Mundine. He's over the 40-metre line. Wigan recover through Radlinski.
Now you've really got to doubt whether the kick was the right option there. As it turned out, probably not for Mundine. He did have a lot of support on the inside. Lockyer again, the man proving most dangerous. Have a look at the support on his right-hand side there. He had two players that he could have gone through the hands to. Decided to kick as Henry Paul now takes it to 29 out from his own line.
Farrell calling Connolly in. Johnson is with it. Twice now we've found Gary Connolly on the extreme right of the ground, which tends to make you think that he's playing on the right wing. He's not. Just so happens that that's the way it's panned out. As Farrell again puts in this kick using the breeze, and Lockyer waving Carroll back on the inside. Langer for Mundine, playing in the centres. And of course, it's no secret he wants the 5'8" position. That's his #1 spot. Transferred from St George to Brisbane Broncos this year. And Langer. Tallis. Cut down with a good tackle by the rather bulky front row forward Hansen. Off the shoulder of Lazarus. No knock on. Walters away for Renoff. And Renoff is held out there by Farrell it was, but apparently there's been a knock-on in the final analysis from Renoff.
Well, they're having a great battle out there. Gary Connolly, I think he stuck himself out there on the right-hand side to look after this man on screen now is Renoff, and he's doing a fine job too. You see the ball going out to him. He sticks with him just like glue, and they're playing split centres here.
Well, of course, Renoff and Connolly have eyeballed each other as Robinson tries to beat them. Look at him go, the little fella. All over the place. Up and down on the one blade of grass and then some. Great mover. Farrell. Now Hall. Chiming in as Cassidy. He's away. Cassidy. Pulled down by Ryan. Hall. Smith. Oh, this could bring... No, he says shoulders. Tell that to the bloke on the ground. Harrigan didn't hesitate. He said around the shoulders, play on. Connolly. Cowie. Paul. Paul. Connolly. Fifth tackle. Farrell. Came off the Broncos. Chance for Wigan. 6 more tackle. Redlinski. Then for Wright. 8 metres from the line. Hall. Farrell. Now Paul. Knocked out. Play on, says the referee.
Brilliant work there from Steve Renoff. Forced a mistake and was still able to come up with the football. That's great defence. Good defence from both teams at each end of the field. Now Lazarus bumps out of one tackle. Finally, Cassidy wraps up his support player.
There's this tackle that Tallis puts on right. Just a fraction high, but nothing really. The referee made a decision and said no, it was around the shoulders.
Yeah, well, he's got very high shoulders. 20 metres out from the Brisbane line. Darren Smith. It's not going out of one's way to be critical of Bill Harrigan, but you could see on the replay, and we've got the advantage of it, it was a high shot on the 40-metre line. And it is Johnson. Farrell, pulled down by Langer. Working hard, Alfie in the centre. Cassidy.
He's still not 100%, Tony Smith, for the Wigan side. Slowly back from that kick. Argue there from Simon Horton.
Oh, Kelly ran into Carroll. Got it away. Horton pulled down 30 metres away from the Brisbane line. Then from Hall. Out for Smith. On for Wright. Then for Farrell. Farrell away. Baseball for Connolly. Connolly, a quick play of the ball. Back for Farrell. The kick goes up in the air. And allowed to bounce by Wigan. Taken down by Brisbane. Peter Ryan. Significant run by the second rower. Andrew G. Hanson hitting hard up the top. It was right underneath. Lazarus to the 40. No score. Good contest so far. Mundy.
Just get the feeling as though Wigan might be about to open up here. Not coming up in defence as they were earlier in the game as Tallis off Langer. A good low tackle there. Cassidy, he's a workaholic.
Langer then to Walters to run it on the left. He puts in a little kick. Weighted perfectly, but Henry Paul is back into the field of play. Johnson coming away from his own line. Alfie trying to steal the ball in a one-on-one situation. And you've got to be careful because really if you go back in time it was about Alan Langer. I'm sure you'll find that the rule was brought in. Robinson. Just inside the 30-metre line. Played back to Redlinski. Then for Hall. And now for Horton. You're a very good boy, Sterling. I'll tell you the Binley story again this evening. Put down by Smith. Knock on. Will pause. 17th minute. No score. Scrum will go down. Just inside the 30-metre line. There's a blood bin. So Brad Thorne comes from the bench with the score at 0-0. Andrew G is the player who has been ordered to the blood bin. Spirited opening to the game. And Brisbane with Darren Smith.
Well, that's been one of the attractions of the game for mine. I know that we've got a blood bin now with G and Thorne, but I don't think I've seen a game this year where we've gone 17 minutes without an interchange player being used.
Played by Thorne. And away now for Walters. Walters, every time he's handled the ball, he's looked dangerous. Mundine away for Lazarus. Now for Tallis. Tallis in vain, looking for a runner. Then back from Driscoll, picking up Walters. A long pass for Renoff, but he's got Connolly in his face. 12 metres away. Brisbane continue to the attack, and Walters decides to go to the air. It's well over the dead ball line, so it'll come back to the 20 for the restart.
See Tony Smith there just running out the line once again, trying to put pressure on the kicker. He's done that successfully at that time. The ball going over the dead ball. Easy 25-metre start.
There's Andy Farrell. And now Cassidy. The halfback Smith appears to be recovered. Played then by Hanson for Farrell. Correction for Wright, and Smith on the inside. Pulled down by Ryan, the second rower. Farrell looking for that touchline again. Saylor coming away from his own line. Over the 10. Over the 20. And to the 30. Langer. Carroll to the 40-metre line. Pulled down by Cowie and Hanson. Driscoll appealing for a penalty. Tallis. Driscoll. Walters. Lazarus. 40-metre line. Wigan's end. Driscoll. Pulled down by Farrell. Walters. Langer. Thorns behind him. That's him with the ball. Gets it away. Ryan is pulled down. And has he ruled knock on a forward pass?
That's a great defence there by Radlinski there, coming in from behind. They'd made the break the Brisbane side. I'm interested in Alfie going to the line, just holding the ball up beautifully. There is the man who's just come on to replace Brad Thorne, but this is a great tackle, Radlinski. Straight in behind, knocks the ball down. Tremendous effort there. Interesting to note too, there's been no penalty so far in this game for offside.
Yeah. In more ways than one, it's been an absorbing contest thus far. Now for Hanson, running straight into Thorne and Ryan. Not a recommended pastime. Farrell switching it back. Smith running into Lazarus, getting some help there from Driscoll. And now a short kick by Wright. The run is Radlinski. Gee, I'll tell you what, he's gone within an inch of getting a clean bounce.
It's brave stuff here from Wigan. Not often you see a chip 25 metres out from your own line, and Radlinski, he did get the bounce, but it wasn't perfectly up into his hands, and that's really what he needed, the speed that he was travelling. He also had the attention of Tony Carroll there.
I just wanted to still let that ball actually come off his knees and not off his hands.
Walters avoided a high shot, then he gets away. Walters will score. All of a sudden, Wigan have opened up.
And it's through a bit of tiredness and some sloppy defence. You see that Kevin Walters run through two head-high tackles to make the initial break. And this is the penalty, I suppose, of not coming up with the right result of that little kick. There he goes, straight through. Diving tackle there from the new man on, Stephen Holgate. And then an attempt late from Gary Connolly. He was no chance. But Radlinski, who just came up with a great tackle moments earlier, he's one player who misses. So too Henry Paul. Not a noted speech to Kevin Walters, but he had a couple of blokes just short the pace behind him. put the first points on in this game.
So Brisbane with this conversion leading 6 points to 0. 6-0 the Broncos over Wigan. Lockyer converting. 24th minute on the timepiece. In front of a brave crowd at ANZ. Driving rain at the time when you'd be contemplating leaving home to come to the football. And this match is being played in front of a healthy crowd given the circumstances. Apparently they had very cold weather, hailstones and everything here this morning. And it got down to 7 degrees in the capital of our Sunshine State. This is Wright. Now Paul. And away from Cowie for Johnson. 48 metres away from the Brisbane line. Mind you people in the north of England would be saying, he's got to be kidding. 7 degrees is hot. Now Farrell. Angling Raglinski. Just inside the 40. Robinson. Pursued by Mundine. He beat him. Stands in another. Farrell gives it down for Radlinski. And Cowie. Well, you couldn't have hit him any better. Hit him right in the breadbasket and he put it down.
The Wigan side really just throwing the ball around, trying to create some little gaps on the outside. Cowie there just coming up with a mistake. It's 2 in a row for the Warriors, Wigan Warriors side. Wouldn't be too happy about that.
6-0 Brisbane. Kevin Walters scoring. Darren Lockyer converting. Langer leaving it behind. Wigan ball. 40-metre line. Cassidy. Now Cowie. What can he do to make up for a terrible mistake? Smith. Offered a decoy by Paul. Gets it to the 30 metres. Farrell from dummy half. Oh, Wright's pass had a question mark on it. Played by Holgate. Paul. Farrell. Again a decoy from Paul. Connolly is taken down. Right on the 20-metre line. Paul for Smith. Rebound off the feet of Renner. Dived on by Farrell. 5th tackle. Didn't play at the ball. Right. Goes across. Put down by Carroll. Robinson. 6 more. Good quick thinking by Robinson there. Some players would have been thinking that the tackle count hadn't been restarted. 5 metres out from the line. Wigan down by 6. Right. Paul. Smith. Farrell. Being stripped of the jumper. Henry Paul working with Robinson. Paul again on the right. Smith. Cut out ball. Connolly. Connolly. All hands on deck. A metre from the line. Right. Johnson. Then Brisbane's ball, play on.
Tallis now tackled here. It is a battle out there between Steve Renouf and Garrett Connolly. On that occasion, Connolly got the better of the confrontation, but tremendous defence from the Broncos. That would please Wayne Bennett. In fact, his first 28 minutes defensively will please him no end. Lockyer coming across to help Saylor. Walters is there. Tallis wants to get a piece of him. Great work.
Langer. Running himself. First time in knock-on has been ordered.
Well, again, it wasn't the last tackle. You've got to question the kick. When the break was made by Alan Langer, Jason Robinson comes in, Kevin Walters. He had time to sum up who it was, and the man who was going to be the problem was Tony Smith. Now, Tony Smith is quite a speedster. He's in there with Carroll. He just did enough to put the big man off and force the mistake. And there were plenty of Brisbane players there. They had some momentum, and they still had a couple of tackles up their sleeve.
So Wigan coming away from a near escape. Andrew on the sideline.
Well, just elaborating on what Peter Sterling had to say about the Brisbane defence, Wayne Bennett and the players certainly know the importance.
Hold the phone if you don't mind, little blocker.
Little blocker.
This is Farrell. And now Cassidy. Don't go too far. Now it was right to the 50-metre line. Yes, Andrew.
Well, no, what Peter was saying, for and against is so important, and Wayne Bennett has certainly reminded his players of that before the match. It's quite possible under the structure of the World Club Challenge that Brisbane could win all their matches and not qualify for the quarter-final. So they know that they're defending their line. Defending their line is just as important as racking up the big scores in this competition.
Yes, of course, Andrew's making the point that the top four from Aussie League and the top four from the Euro League will go through to the draw. Darren Lockyer, that is beautiful. Penalty goes to Brisbane anyway.
I'm just wondering if this is that penalty that's been brought in by Super League of hitting the man catching the football while he's in mid-air. There you see it there, the man going low was Cassidy. I'm sure that's what the penalty is for. You're not allowed to go and interfere with the man as he climbs up to catch the football.
Best thing about that kick there, Sterlo, was the Wigan players got through and chased and put pressure on him.
Now Renoff. The battle continues. Renoff and Connolly. Andrew G. Just getting back to that, Peter, I had the feeling that Lockyer was firmly in possession of the ball when he was taken.
Yeah, I think the rule is, Ray, and we will check on, you're not allowed to tackle him while he's in mid-air when he's got possession.
Okay, so when he's in mid-air at any time, you're not allowed to tackle him, even with the football. Now, this is Lazarus. 5 tackles gone, 15 metres out. Langer stepping away from one, putting the kick in, and fielded very confidently by Henry Paul. Robinson. Right. Horton. Just outside the 20-metre line. 6 points to nil in favour of the home side. Henry Paul. Andy Farrell. Mick Cassidy. Cassidy had plenty of time to choose where he would go, and he ran straight back into the middle of the ruck. Now that is Holgate. Smith. Very fast. Connolly takes the tackle of Renoff, then unloads to Johnson. Johnson confronted by Sailor. Good work by Johnson. Farrell. Sailor. How did he get back there? He was just chasing Johnson, 30 yards up the ground. 27 metres out from their own line, the Broncos. Langer. Mundine. 30-metre line. 96-76. Brisbane have now made more tackles than Wigan. You'll recall I mentioned earlier in the game it was exactly the reverse of that. Peter Ryan. Langer. Lazarus. 41 metres away from the Wigan line. 5 tackles. Langer running to them, putting the kick in, getting the regather, kicking again. Lockyer's after it with Johnson. Lockyer will score. Lockyer. He has persisted. He has followed Alan Langer and has picked up the reward.
comment earlier that Wigan would have done their homework on Alan Langer's short kicking game. I don't know whether they have or not, but he's still got the ability to hurt you. It's the last tackle. Not a lot of space in behind there, but somehow Langer finds it, gets the right bounce, kicks it almost in the one motion. Johnson appeared to have this covered, but as Lockyer comes in and kicks the football with his right foot, that put the winger off, and he was able to juggle the football over the line. But this is where the skill unfolded from the inside and the kick across. Lockyer, some more soccer work there. Looked as though he was going to lose control of the football. Able to grasp it in at the last moment.
So the second try is there of the night, and both have gone to Brisbane. Darren Lockyer now attempting conversion of his own try. 25 out. Struck it well, but just across the face. So no addition. Brisbane 2 tries to 0, 10 points to 0. 35th minute. Rain still tumbling down, but it's having no effect on the handling in this game. It's been a high-quality game, and it hasn't prevented them showing their skills.
I just think that when Wigan get the ball now, they must go forward first before they go wide. They're going wide a little bit too early, and they need their forwards to make that hard yards, then try and get them out wide.
Farrell has led well.
It does hurt you, doesn't it, having points scored just before half-time as Wigan go wide. Linsky, he ran into a traffic jam, it's been called play on. Mundine goes back to clean up and does so very nicely. But going in 6-0 down, I'm sure that Eric Hughes would have been reasonably happy with that. Just a couple of bad misses on Kevin Walters. 10-0, it's harder. You know that all of a sudden you've got to score twice in the second half, and that maybe you haven't been rewarded for all the hard work you put in the first 40 minutes.
Lazarus linking up as a receiver and offloader. Renoff having a long and lasting look at Holgate. Didn't enjoy the tackle. Thorne. Driscoll. Langer. You've got to stay with him. Can't take your eyes off him. Lockyer. His kick taken by Henry Paul. And that'll be a penalty for the second tackle on Andrew G. There was no value in it. And Cowie didn't like the idea either.
No, he came in to defend the little man. Henry Paul is not that little, I suppose. The two fullbacks coming together, and Andrew G, it was a pretty cheap shot.
There's a complete tackle here. Complete tackle. It didn't need a second man over the top.
Andrew G throwing the first one there. Neil Cowie just backing up, like you said, the little man and Henry Paul, but Henry knew that that tackle should not have been made.
The penalty had already gone their way. They didn't want to jeopardise anything there as Andy Farrell now finds touch inside the final 2 minutes.
This is Holgate. Cassidy. Tries for Walters and Lockyer. Conversion to the latter. No markers. Oh, gee, that was big from Thorne on right. That hurt him too. He's clutching at one of the thigh muscles. Driscoll scampered across to clean it up. Lazarus. Walters. Lockyer. Smith. 40-metre line. Wigan's end of the ground. And now trying to put Peter Ryan through a hole. Mundy. 23 metres out and half a minute to the break. Reynolds' kick in the hands of Smith. Connolly goes down the blind side. Now Walters, something happened and Saylor went in on Connolly. Smith puts a kick in and there was a knock on. Siren in the background, so Bill Harrigan calling time. The end of a magnificent first half of football. Darren Lockyer, with Darren converting the Walters try, and he too is having a fine game. His try came through persistent ball support on what Alan Langer was doing. He's learned very early, Wayne Bennett, the coach, heading back to his vantage point. I was going to say Darren has learned very early on that it's not a bad pastime following Alan Langer. You'll come up with a bag full of tries. So the shallow restart in an endeavour to get possession back. And Brisbane, they finish up with the ball in much better field position than they might have thought. Tallis it is who's playing it on the halfway line. Brad Thorne, who came on early as a blood bin replacement for Andrew G, and he hasn't left the field since. Tallis knocks on, so Wigan will get the possession from this scrum about 35 metres out from their own line.
I think Wigan are very lucky. I think from the kickoff you see Alfie going across field picking up Tallis. From the kickoff, you're better off kicking the ball down deep and getting Brisbane to bring it out of their own trouble zone, not giving the ball in your own half.
Gary Connolly running across the ground. Not a good tonight, actually. Connolly not taking anything away from his personal confrontation with Steve Renoff, but he has been made to crab across the ground a couple of times. This is Robinson. We haven't really seen him to full advantage yet. Farrell's been brilliant. Connolly did well to take the pass and then submit in the tackle. Kick into the bottom corner for Lockyer. Knocked backwards, said the referee. Saylor wants it. Interesting to have a look at that. Bill Harrigan had no doubts that it was knocked backwards. I thought it might have came off the feet for a moment.
Well, I reckon that ball's been knocked forward and Wigan a little bit hard done by there.
John Platt is on at dummy half as Gordon Tallis reaches the halfway line for the Broncos. And now for G. A straining run to the 40-metre line. To the short side, to Langer. To kick, looking for Carroll. The weight on the kick was far too great. Over the dead ball line, back to the 20 for the restart. Andrew, what were you able to find out for us at halftime?
Well, firstly, from Wayne Bennett, he thought defensively one of the Broncos' best efforts of the season, and in fact it's one of their best performances of the year all round. Fairly straightforward, his instructions: let's get on with the job, no complacency, and play out the 80 minutes. And from the Wigan side of things, Eric Hughes, a lot of his attention was devoted to the Wigan kicking game. He wants his side in general play to look for the line more, and when they get in an attacking zone to really work the bomb. He believes there's a weakness on the Brisbane flanks under the high ball. I'll say this about Wigan, Ray, there was still a lot of talk amongst the players at half-time in the room, so they stayed very positive, which is a good sign.
Certainly. They'll carry the hopes of England, really, from what we've seen in the Club Challenge. 10 points to 0 down against the Broncos at ANZ. Farrell linking with Wright, knocked on then by Henry Paul.
I think Wigan, if they are to be a chance in this game, and that means that they've got to score some points and score them fairly quickly, their halves have got to be the players that have got to rise to the occasion. Both Tony Smith and Nigel Wright last Monday night were absolutely outstanding. Tonight they haven't been as effective. I've got a sneaking suspicion both of them are struggling, maybe with a little bit of injury out there, but also not getting the latitude from this Brisbane defence that they were allowed a week ago.
10 metres then into Wigan's half. Brisbane. This match at the moment poised. He's got somebody for a high shot on Langer here.
Nick Cassidy pulled out. Just a clumsy effort there.
A little short one over here. The first couple of times about this using your arm and drop one. Give him a short one. Don't let me catch again. Okay?
Well,
that was around his neck, mate. You're getting plenty of him go.
He's got Martin Hall here, the man in the head there, and I thought it was that man there.
I think it's Cassidy.
Well, absolutely no doubt. Or he's got the wrong man, or no, he can't have got the wrong man. Like, I mean, might have been looking at some other incident, but he said it was a high tackle, so he's definitely got the wrong player.
Who's Langer? Where's Martin Hall?
Well, he actually walked back past the play. There he is, just in left of screen, now centre of screen. Nowhere any involvement whatsoever.
Well, we've got to say that Bill has got the wrong man here for sure. He was referring, as you say, to another incident, and God, he's let it go a few plays if he has. So Lockyer with a penalty shot, and he just squeezes it outside the uprights. 10 points to 0, no change, as Wright limps from the ground. Now Colloy has gone on, I'm led to believe. Andrew in 28.
Yeah, Paul Colloy is normally a centre or a winger. I actually saw him earlier this year at the World Super League 9 playing for Tonga. He can cause some problems.
You can't find him on the reserve list. Anyway, just another little bear trap that they've set for me. Notice of Thorne. 35 metres out from the Wigan line. 10 points to 0. I was about to say this match poised. Brisbane to build a very big score. If they are the next team to score, they're looking good. Oh, Johnny Platt. Johnny Platt putting it down in an attempt to get rid of it. He's appealing that it's their knock on.
No, it definitely won't go that way. And if Wigan persist to race up 1 and 2 out on the last tackle, trying to put pressure on the kicker, they are going to pay an enormous penalty.
That's what Johnny Platt's saying, though. He claims that the ball was knocked down from his grasp.
What you'll find is Henry Paul's left the fullback position, gone into the 5'8", and Colloy has gone into the fullback.
Cowie getting a fairly high shot from Andrew G. The ball has been raked out in the tackle. That's the reason for the penalty. So that little confrontation between Andrew G. and Cowie continued there.
It was actually Steve Renner who pushed the football out. Holgate takes it to the halfway line and loses the football on the first try.
Harrigan has said that he's called knock on.
Gordon Tallis has knocked it out, hasn't he?
Well, that's right. I mean, that to me is a two-man tackle. And it should have been a penalty.
And should have been a call for the touch judge, really.
Well, that's right. He was standing on top of it. He's standing over the top of it like it was a manhole. But he didn't give his man in the centre any hope at all.
That's why he didn't see it. It was dark.
There's probably no man in the hole. Here's Lazarus now. 32 metres up. 10-0. Brisbane over Wigan. As they come across, and Renner. Ooh, forward pass. Forward pass.
See Wigan sailor down here talking to the lines and saying, come on, mate, help us out here. And that definitely was a forward pass right on the line there. Good decision there by Billy Harrigan. And I thought he was away.
See, it's a line ball on. Even after the replay, I'm not...
I'll go with the referee. I thought it was a pretty good decision for him, even from where he was standing.
Here's Kaloi now. Did well. Now Robinson. Look at him go. Vaughan did amazingly well.
What about that from the big man?
Ah, Brad Vaughan. That is an enormous effort from him. Now Kaloi. He started this movement. Farrell tries to put it on the chest of Robinson.
He's knocked on.
Well, he's given Robinson an almighty job out there.
Sorry, Garrett. Andrew Voss said that this Kaloi can cause a few problems. He's attracted two here. Look at Brad Thorne. The speed of the big man gets the ankle tap. Front row getting across there to make the tackle. And then right at the end, there was no need for the cutout pass. He had plenty of troops just to go through the hands, and Jason Robinson went for the slip catch. Didn't come up with it.
No, I don't think Brad Thorne knows how to run that fast.
He did a pretty good job.
That
good
was,
interpretation of a winger.
honestly, maybe the try that Lockyer scored off Langer was the play of the night. But defensively, that was the play of the night from Brad Thorne. Chalice. The big man is away. Here's the support. Carroll. Oh, he's gone back into first gear to score. How often does it happen? Here we are, standing up thinking Robinson will score at the other end of the park. And then, before you can blink an eye, Chalice is away.
They're 100 metres at the other end of the field. Carroll gets a saloon passage to the line. Gordon Tallis did all the hard work. Radlinski missed the tackle on Tallis straight through Tony Smith, and then just served it up on a platter for the winger. They were short in defence on the blind side, and Gordon Tallis, at his block-busting best on that occasion, just pushed through Radlinski, whose defence tonight has been first class. Tony Smith, Gordon Tallis was just too big for him, too strong. Kaloi came across. Carroll an easy 30-metre run to the line to score their third try. And now, what sort of proportion does that put that chase from Brad Thorne in?
Well, that's right. He made it all possible to translate what was possibly going to be 6 against them into 6 for them.
So you've got advanced knowledge that he's going to kick this one, Rax.
Well, as a matter of fact, I do think he'll kick this, yes.
I'd like to get odds.
Well, here it comes.
Oh, how good are you? The champion.
16 points to 0. At the 52nd minute, the try converted by Darren Lockyer. Was there ever any doubt?
Oh, you've never rung me up on a Saturday morning about Rose Hill or Flemington with any advance warning.
Brisbane restarting. And Chalice is hung. The hand out, and Harrigan has pinched him for it. Andy Farrell. Just got a fear now that this might build into a score that Wigan doesn't deserve to have put on them. And I'm talking as one that sat and watched and enjoyed the first 40 minutes of football.
Yeah, the first 50-odd minutes, I thought they were outstanding in their defence. But again, I think it's their go forward that's letting them down. They've got to go forward before they go wide, throwing some balls that shouldn't be thrown. They should take the tackle and get on with their set of 6.
They've got a new man out there, Wigan, number 10, Terry O'Connor. He was injured for their first game as Smith tries to duck under a tackle. See if he can have an impact in their go forward as Farrell again puts the kick through over Sailor's head, finds touch 10 out from the Brisbane line.
So the boys making their way to this scrum ever so much more slowly now. Another birthday boy in the commentary team tonight, Peter Sterling, celebrating his
Birthday?
celebrating his 37th birthday.
Oh, that old. It's too good to be that old, Raz.
There's no mirrors in the Sterling house, obviously, but we do wish him a happy birthday. With Wendell Sailor not being wished anything at all by two of the Wigan defenders. Peter, they call them the Wigan Warriors. I might be having a mental block, but I thought they were the cherry pick.
Yeah, that changed when they joined Super League.
Oh, I see. So there are no more cherries.
No, they've got cherries. I never saw any in Wigan, I must admit, when I was there. But I'm pretty sure that that's just something new with in the new Super League contest. It's Tallis.
Tallis again to the 40-metre line, and then for Ryan to come left for Waldo. Renoff was in front of this kick. It'll be interesting to take a peg on him as it's booted by Johnson over the dead ball line. The coach watches on. Andrew Voss on the sideline.
Yeah, plenty of tension down here on the bench for Wigan. Eric Hughes has come down to the sideline. He was disappointed with their last change. He wanted Neil Cowie to come off when instead Stephen Holgate came from the field and Terry O'Connor went out there. So they have got some problems.
Well, I thought Andy Johnson could have had plenty of time there to pick that ball up and try and get out. And just giving your side a drop goal out and giving Brisbane back another set of 6, that only spells danger for them.
Especially in view, if you do bring it out under their rules, under the Super League rules, you've got 7 tackles. Yeah.
However, yeah, the very worst was going to be the same result, wasn't it?
So Brisbane given a real good opportunity again. They've put 3 over the line. Walter is the 4th coming. John Platt, Lazarus, and then Tallis with a little juggle. 8 metres away. Platt again. Tallis is injured. Langer, Ferrity, and then getting it in behind them. Robinson will try. Kaloi. The line drop out. We'll see Brisbane come back with a 3rd set of 6 at them. So let's watch it now. Sailor will give them Mundy. Carroll, Walters, G, Platt, Langer, now for Fawn, rushes away from Farrell, back for Langer. Lazarus. Cheekily thought about it himself. And then Platt. Langer, jinking, turning, probing. Lockyer. The 5th. Platt. No way through there. So that was a very good set of 6 from Wigan in defence. They've now repelled 3 sets from the Broncos. This is their best opportunity because they start from the 20-metre line with Robinson.
Floyd did a magnificent job letting that ball go over, so they do get that easy 25 metres. This is there where their forwards must go forward, make some easy yards for their backs, and then get a good kick away.
Oh, gee, there's a punch up on in back play. Tallis let 3 go. They all found the mark right on the button. Well, this fellow in the number 10 jumper, I'm not kidding, Tallis just landed 3 without hesitation right on the pecker.
Well, they've both got the same injury, so Terry's landed one as well.
Well, have a look at this. And this is probably something that we shouldn't be highlighting, but watch this. Bang, bang, bang. Then another one. And they stood toe-to-toe and they let them go. Well, Gordon's not just a pretty face, is he?
We got both of them off to the sin bin for 10 minutes. Punching bag there, Terry O'Connor, but he regrouped pretty well after the first sleep.
I thought he threw one back pretty good. Got Tallis on the hooter once again. He's shown plenty to him as he walked off the field.
There he is, back at the bench. And they're not supposed to stay there. Brisbane then, following the penalty, Andrew G. Wigan have lost 2 players, they're both down, so given the sin bin, they've only got 10 players there in the defensive line. Mundy. Oh, and then embarrassingly he drops it.
He's trying to throw the pass, he's trying to beat him, he's trying to tip kick, he's come up with a mistake.
Robinson.
Yeah, an unfortunate one there for Anthony Mundine, and also unfortunate for Peter Ryan just before the stoush between Tallis and O'Connor. Peter Ryan was dispatched to the blood bin as well. That won't use up one of the interchange spots as all just comes loose.
So Brisbane have got Renoff and Saylor combining on the left of the ground. Saylor back away for Langer. Able to unload miraculously. Mundine away for Carroll to bomb it. Oh, what a tragedy. How did Bomber try?
You almost got the impression here that Anthony Mundine wasn't selfish enough. But he just threw the pass out. And Gary Connolly came flying across, but there's no way known if the pass had been taken, he'd have been able to stop that man who still can't stop shaking his head.
So Wigan bring it back towards the 10-metre line. Connolly. You wouldn't believe what just happened up here. There was a head in front of Peter Sterling, and Sterling couldn't see the game because of the head. Guess who owned the head?
I was going to say hello.
John Rebo.
I knew him when he was the breezer.
Now, right. Did his arm touch the ground? Obviously not. This is right. Is it? No. It's 25. Talek, the Frenchman. Farrell's kick, bouncing for Lockyer. Running across the count. Radlinski. Just inside the 30-metre line. Been a bit of spite in this game. A couple of old-fashioned punch-ups. Saylor. G. Webke. He was under a cloud with an injury. Suffered out of football Webke, here's another pass for Walters. Whoops, back and around. Oh, Lockyer, he knows the play. He knows the play. It's called the hurdy-gurdy. And Lockyer scores his second try.
Oh, Kevin Wallace, he has made a few busts in this game. He scored a try from one of them. He didn't have the pace. Good interchange here. Bad misses in the middle of the ruck. He's got nowhere to go. He goes backwards to go forward, another dummy. And there's Darren Lockyer standing in open spaces. Strides out under the post.
Oh, that's a great inside ball there by Langer to Walters. Picks up his little 5'8" partner. And we've seen it all before. He runs around, he loses his way. He can't find anyone to back him up. And hello, I'm out here. Give me the ball. It's just a straight 25-metre run to the try line. Excellent stuff there. We didn't know what he was doing. I don't think he knew what he was doing.
The boy, he's been catching merry-go-rounds all his life. There's a vacant horse there, Mum. It's got to come round again. From in front. He's building a nice personal token. Come on, Wayne, smile. 22-0. David Middleton is our statistician. He has now proposed that they were never actually called the cherry pickers. They simply wore cherry and white colours. Their official name was the Riverside.
Didn't you know that?
I'll say it again. David Middleton has suggested that they were never called the cherry pickers. They wore the cherry and white colour.
No, they were the Riversiders or something, weren't they?
You're a genius. That'll do me.
Ooh. Bounces out of the tackle there, Thorne. And he cleaned up Colloy as Wigan. Now they might as well throw caution to the wind. They go wide. Henry Paul onto Farrell. Bleaks one. Good cover inside. Cleans him up. It was Darren Smith.
Saw Wigan try a few chip kicks in the first half, around about 4 of them. Maybe they should throw a couple of them in. If they get over the back of the Brisbane defence, put some pressure on them.
Farrell. He's tried his inside out. He really has.
You pushed it out, Alf, and there was 2 in it.
And the penalty goes to the Warriors.
Ballymanga, they're penalised for pushing the ball out when there were 2 in the tackle. Let's see if the Englishman can put something on here. Mick Cassidy. He's not coming in with much regard for himself.
Robinson quickly coming away from the blind wing.
And Cassidy just got tipped over the ears by Darren Smith.
Now they put an angle together for Connolly. 23 metres away from the Brisbane line. 22-0. Both sides playing with 12 and 3 minutes left on the clock, on the sin bin clock. Lockyer. This is Carroll.
The next play you'll see is Brisbane will go wide to Wendell Saylor on this left-hand side.
Johnson on Renoff. Walters. Safe. Talek underneath. Paul over the top. Peter Ryan is back on from the blood bin. Very important that you decipher between blood bins and just normal interchanges when you're playing these international rules. Both have had 4 now. Both have had 4 interchanges, which gives them 2 more if they need them. Henry Paul, who pushed up from fullback to 5'8", with the loss of Nick Wright.
Just on that interchange, Ray, that's what I was saying after 18 minutes. That's what I like about the fact that the interchange, I think, is detracted from our game in general. In the first 18 minutes, when we hadn't seen one, we saw the fatigue factor become involved, and that's what the game of rugby league is also about, is Cassidy. Has to get through the tackle. Webke hangs on.
Here's Henry Paulder crossing the 30 before using Gary Connolly, then lost backwards. And 5 tackles gone against Wigan. Away from Smith. Straight to Farrell. He uses the kick for Horton. But Carroll is there to clean it up for Brisbane. Saylor. Just across his own 40-metre line. As Terry O'Connor gets ready to come back in. Andrew on the sideline.
Well, Terry O'Connor's ready to come back on. That's because he's never gone to the...
Hold the phone. Sorry, it's happened again. Walters. 15 out from the line. Langer. Troops all around him. He doesn't need any of them. Oh, he goes it himself. And Alan Langer. 26 points to nil. Scores a solo try.
Well, this was Alan Langer firstly putting Kevin Walters away. This by Hall there, cleaned up by Radlinsky. And then the invitation for Alan Langer to score the try. You can see the Wigan defence still going back. With Breeze played there. Just have a look how none of these players move up to meet Alan Langer. They just stay and wait. And he just gobbles up the metres. Cassidy was there finally. The tackle was made low by Radlinsky. But, gee, they just said, here, Alf. Come to us.
What a magnificent performance, though, by the same man. Celebrating 200 first-grade games for the Broncos tonight.
Well, he is Mr. Bronco, isn't he? He's played sensational. The 10 years that even Sterlo and I played against this man, you just can't leave him alone for 1 second, because he will make sure that you do pay the price, and that's what he's done to Wigan here tonight.
Well, there's Darren Lockyer about to add another 2 points. The thing I think that is so outstanding about Alan Langer, apart from just his ability, and there is the extra 2, is the fact, like, there might be some dispute whether how many games he's played. It's about 200. It might be a few more. But over 10 seasons, that means that, as David Middleton pointed out before the game, he's averaged 20 games a season.
Just let me ask you a question, Sterlo. When you first confronted this fellow, Alan Langer, not Gordon Tallis, when you first confronted Alan Langer on the field, do you remember your first thoughts? I mean, you were the king and he was the heir apparent.
Well, he was...
No, I'm talking about halfback.
Yeah, I remember. He pushed me off and scored a try, and I thought, gee, I wish I hadn't have done that. The thing that you found out very quickly about Alan Langer, and I think the sign of the greatness was the fact that he was thrown into our highest pressured games early on. I'm talking about State of Origin, and he had an impact straight away. So you knew that he was something special. The thing that you also found out about him is that, and this is no disrespect to him at all, but his size belies his strength. He is incredibly strong, and if you think Langer's running at you and he's going to succumb in the tackle because he's not a particularly big man, he'll beat you every time.
Pete Sterling talking about the man that eventually moved into the throne. And we could probably go on with more of that because I'm sure the rugby league purists would love to hear it. But here's Saylor now.
Well, just a final word, Ray, is that the most impressive thing about Alan Langer is he's the same bloke now as the one that I first played in 1987.
Wendell Saylor. Which comes back to that famous line from Paul Horton, remember who you are. Now, Wigan get the ball. From Robinson. For Farrell. The lofted ball for Johnson.
They throw those big long balls, but really it leaves the wingers, Johnson there, with no room whatsoever to move. Brisbane side are sliding in defence. You've got to cut the ball back inside and make them pay on the inside.
Robinson.
Ball, tackle 3.
Yeah.
Good ball, twice.
Jason must be deaf. Bill Harrigan is saying, Jason, I called held twice. But why doesn't he penalise?
That'll be a penalty then.
Yes.
It's a very lenient decision then. Brisbane come up with the football. The Broncos have now used all their interchange players. The last one was young Ben Walker in 16 coming on for Tony Carroll.
Renoff. Webke. Shane Webke with a full-blooded run. 20-metre run. Good young player. Langer again. Around the corner for Platt. Then for Lockyer. Lockyer away for Platt. Platt back for Walters. Walters back now for Platt. Turn it up. Put it on replay. Now Platt again. It was Mundy. Ben from Langer for Tallis. The big man's away. Tallis gets a try.
The floodgate's starting to open up now, and Gordon, who's come back out with the snoz fairly well covered, takes advantage of this beautiful play earlier on, the rugby ball. Platt, Walters, Mundine, and eventually Alan Langer puts the ball on Tallis's chest, and he goes straight through the tackle. We can find it's Andy Johnson coming in, the number 15, just gets pushed straight off. Now, Brisbane have just proven to be too big and too fast tonight. They haven't handled them. Wigan have tried valiantly in defence, but in some one-on-one situations, they've just been mismatched, and that was one of them there.
The other thing is, too, that their go forward has really stepped up a gear. Guys like Brad Thorne and Webke, when they've come on the field, adds another 2 points. There's Lockyer. He's had a fine game tonight, but those two guys I did mention, they go forward so well.
34 points to 0. 5 minutes to go. And again.
Just picks out players, doesn't he, Alfie? Guys run into holes and makes it look so easy. Gordon Tallis is pretty hard to stop that far out from the try line.
Jablinski bringing it away. I'm just looking for Lockyer's personal tally. 18 of the 34, alongside the name of the young man who is destined for rugby league greatness. Gary Connolly. I mentioned earlier we're going through European Sky Sports. I think it's worth mentioning that as Robinson comes across and links up with Smith, the halfback, and then back to Farrell. Plenty of ball movement, but then Johnson puts it down. Brisbane with it. The point I was going to make, this Brisbane side could easily run out as the Australian Super League side, and they wouldn't be let down by any one of the 17. I just felt as though it had to be put in its right perspective if you are a Wigan supporter. There is no reason why this side from Brisbane could not be the Australian Super League side. I mean, they wouldn't let the country down. That's how they're regarded, I think you'll find, generally across Australia. Langer. And then Walters on the 20-metre line. Last 3 minutes of the game coming up. Torn away for Tallis, and he's met there by Connolly. Brad Thorne attempting a kick, and it comes down for Talek.
Well, I don't know if the big fella was supposed to do the big up and under, but it came off the wrong way, that's for sure.
Farrell. And Andy Farrell just getting up, clutching at his forehead. Thought he might have split the skin above the eye. Here's Horton. Scored a stampeding try against Canterbury a week ago. Robinson. And he's through. Run into Walters, and Walters put him away. Leg roped him and put him down. Smith. again. That's Darren. Oh, gee, Henry. Standing and passing. Alan Lockyer accepted by Robinson. With 1.5 minutes of the match remaining. This is Ben Walker. Lost. Legitimately taken away from him. Talek. Paul. Brisbane just as keen to protect their try line as Wigan are to get over it. Cassidy. Paul. Farrell looks to beat them with the kick, and the kick was helped over the dead ball line, was it?
Yeah, it sure was. Darren Lockyer was in the in-goal area, so it will be a line dropout. Time clock winding down now. Wigan will hardly have a chance to get another set of 6 anyway. But Lockyer taking absolutely no chances. At this stage of the game, no reason to.
Gary Conley will certainly be one of the best there for the Wigan side, stealing their before. To take him out of this side, I think they would struggle. He's been great in defence. The amount of ball that he has had, he's been terrific in attack at the same time.
Kaloi. This is O'Connor. And Brad Thorne lined him up with the shoulder hit. And O'Connor loses the ball.